in their shot selection today.
Right. Cap goes to the Eagles. Trey Cobbs will control right there. Senior out of Lima, Ohio. Here's Kamari Brown, the veteran. He's guarded by Sean Walker. Elijah McCadden.
Greg Gary still experimenting with that lineup, Frank. We talked about at this point in the season, a lot of times you're doing it, but especially when you lose your point guard.
First bucket of the game is a three from Kamari Brown. Comes in shooting nearly 45% from beyond the arc.
Just went 1 of 3 in their last outing, but a guy like him who's already a good shooter, Frank, when he sees his first go in, that could be a good sign for the Eagles this afternoon.
Shannon Brand in the corner. Savrasov on him as the shot clock goes under 10. And a turnover, and it's Brown quickly coming the other way. To Cobbs. Fast break. The defense leading the offense, and Georgia Southern with the first 5 points of the game.
You get a great picture at how aggressive they are in their man-to-man. Play the ball very, very hard, put a lot of pressure on that ball handler.
Walker, nice move. Hasse outside, he can shoot the long-range shot, and he gets his first 3 to go. Felipe Hasse is shooting over 53% from beyond the arc.
Talk about lethal. He's been seeing it go in left and right, and that was a tough shot from the left wing, too. Good to see him have his first one go in.
Cadden loses the ball. Robertson to steal. Ahead to Johnson.
These teams playing at a lightning pace in the first 90 seconds.
Inside to Grant. Grant matched up with Prince Koyambi. They double him.
If Grant can realize that a little sooner, that double came late. Nice shot from the corner.
That's Kamar Robertson hits the 3. So the Bears with back-to-back threes. They've scored 6 straight, and they lead by 1. Hasse and Savrasov. Savrasov, nice move.
That's going to be a matchup to watch today. Man, I'm telling you what. 2 guys that just provide matchup problems, and to see them, see if Savrasov, he's matched up on this end on Hasse. That's going to be a matchup to keep an eye on.
There they are. This time Hasse on the offensive end for Robertson. Johnson's pass tipped away by Brown.
Both teams with aggressive defense so far. It's just a missed layup. Both teams doing a good job of getting some good looks offensively.
Savrasov will fire his first 3. No good, and Walker snags the rebound for the Bears.
We talk about how Mercer, not a very deep team. This pace, you feel like with Georgia Southern's depth may favor them if it stays this type of up and down game over the course of the 40 minutes here today.
Blistering pace, as you said, till to start with. Koyambi with McCadden. Walker and Brown and Savrasov. Brown gets open. Shot no good. Bears basketball.
And already some substitutions. See that depth right off the bat for Georgia Southern. You know that they realize it's going to be a long game today.
Head coach Brian Berg, 10 players on this team average more than 10 minutes a game. Mercer, meanwhile, plays just 8, and then with Alvarez out, that could be mainly a 7-person rotation. Strong move inside, and that is Shannon Grant. The 6'10 sophomore, Sylacauga, Alabama, just continues to get better, especially on the offensive end.
You've seen him get his body more in shape, Frank. And a good defense there. He's going to be the block, but that's a good D to get in that position. Other end of the floor, good job of making that move before that double team could come on him.
Kamari Brown with a solid drive. They will get Grant with the block. Brown to the foul line where he shoots 80%. He's a senior. He's out of Tallahassee, Florida. Has logged a lot of minutes in his career for Georgia Southern.
Made his first start versus Carver. Played at Panola College. Comes in really, obviously being a senior, very quick, and as you said, very good shooter.
He has 4 early points make it 5. And Georgia Southern regains the lead at 9-8.
He's got a lot of smoothness to his game.
Backcourt pressure now for the Eagles. Walker gets it to Robertson.
You just watch this Georgia Southern team. A nice shot, tough shot. There's Johnson. We talked about him at the top, Frank. Our player to watch. If he can give the Bears offense like that, could be a very good day for Mercer this afternoon.
Very smooth offensively. Patton, corner, good ball movement. Nice jumper there.
Both teams, again, getting good looks here in the early going, and not just getting them, but knocking them down. There's a nice mid-range jumper. Both teams just cannot miss.
Hasse comes back with a 3, and the Bears go back in front.
Well, what do we know? We sit here and talk about defense, and it's not like the teams are guarding poorly. Both teams just getting good shots.
And Curry missed there after making his layup.
Nice recognition. Boy, beautiful job. They realized the double was coming and got rid of it.
Grant dishes to the wide open Sean Walker Jr. And the Bears bump the lead to 4 at 15-11.
I don't think you saw Grant making that play last year, Frank. He has grown up a lot.
Oh, how about the quickness there of Elijah McAdam, the senior from Rocky Mount, North Carolina. Strong move to the basket. Cuts the Mercer lead to 2.
Still waiting on this under-16 timeout, and these teams are going to need some oxygen.
This has been a very fast-paced first 6 minutes. I say, thought he got fouled, no, but Walker was able to get the rebound.
And now in the Sun Belt, and again, you watch Georgia Southern in the first 6 minutes. How is this team picked 11th out of 12 teams in the preseason polls?
Does seem hard to believe. They are 5-3 right now. One of those losses, a 2-point loss to Georgia Tech that the Eagles easily could have won. Cobbs is working hard against Robertson. Only has to dish it off to Weatherford. And Yusapaitis finally has to fire along with the shot clock. And they're going to get Georgia Southern for a foul underneath as Getty Yusapaitis shot from long range with the shot clock going down. Mercer playing good defense.
Just what I was going to say. For all the talk about Georgia Southern, and rightfully so, Mercer guarding very well. Here's another guy to really keep an eye on today, I believe. That's James Glisson, a guy that came off the bench last year. And you talk about instant offense. He's the kind of guy that can do that. And looking at him this year as opposed to last year, he's beefed up a little bit more upper body strength for him. Very, very talented.
Had 25 a week ago Saturday in the win against Georgia State off the bench, and then had 16 in a win on Monday against Coastal Carolina. There is Glisson. He will fire the 3. Cobbs back the other way in a hurry. Nice dish off inside to Toyambi. Credit Trey Cobbs with a beautiful feed, and Prince Toyambi, the transfer from Cincinnati, with his first basket of the game.
Georgia Southern very good in transition, limiting their opponent to 1 shot, getting back down the floor. Good job to get back to the other end before Mercer could set up what's been a good half-court defense so far.
Contact away from the ball. It'll be Getty Yusapaitis will pick up the foul. Sean Walker Jr. now checks in. They're going to give Kamar Robertson a blow. Again, the Bears having to work around the loss of Nefty Alvarez. Broken foot. 3-month recovery period, which pretty much would rule him out for the rest of the season.
We saw him with the scooter, and obviously not an extremely deep Mercer team. And when you lose your point guard, your game manager, that really is going to make it difficult. Johnson got poked right in the eye.
Grant Weatherford. Caught with a foul there. Johnson says he's okay.
We felt like this game would eventually slow down a little bit, settle a little bit more into a half court. Have to be very, very purposeful with your offensive movement if you're Mercer.
Johnson can shoot from beyond the arc. He showed you there the touch. That's 38% from three-point range. And that three puts the Bears up by 3. Here comes Cobb back again. He has already shown he can get to the basket.
Again, I was just going to say, good recognition by Georgia Southern, and just getting right back down the court. Mercer has been good in their half-court defense, but that is just good transition basketball by the Eagles.
Hasse, he's hit a couple from there, and that's 3 from almost that exact same spot. He now has 9 all on three-pointers. Mercer's lead is back to 4.
Frank, this is a Georgia Southern team that has given up 41, 52, 59, 51, and 43 points. In the same time, if you're Georgia Southern, you like to keep it more of a low-scoring game, you'd feel like. So we'll see how that continues to develop as Georgia Southern continues to try to mix up things with their defensive pressure. Nice.
They get the steal, McCadden. Sleight of hand and the jam, and Coach Greg Gary said there had to be a foul there somewhere. Call not made, and Georgia Southern with the turnover and bucket cuts the lead to 2. Walker guarded by McCadden.
Well, obviously Brian Berg tutored under Chris Beard, who really knows how to coach defense at Texas Tech.
Tucker, a floater in the lane, no good, but there's Glisson banging, no good. Loose ball, and the Bears will retain it. So Mercer battling underneath. Unable to get the short shots to go, but they still have the basketball, leading by 2. Shot clock will be reset to 20. And Jalen Johnson will inbound. Good defense there by Elijah McCadden, cutting off the passing lane as Johnson tried to find Shannon Grant open underneath.
The way I would describe Georgia Southern's defense, Frank, is frantic. They just are they're active and they move with purpose, and they're just very engaging defensively.
Johnson open for the 3. It gets it to go, and the Bears are still on fire. 6 of 8 now from beyond the arc. Johnson with 8. And Mercer with their biggest lead at 5.
You can't play better defense than Georgia Southern just did. I mean, a hand in the face of the shooter, just making it right over the top. If you're Mercer, you do not want to fall in love with that, though.
Soft fadeaway by Sabrasov, no good. Good position inside for Shannon Grant to snatch the rebound.
A space eater in there, but a guy who we saw earlier can move his feet, and a good passer as well as Grant.
Going to get McCadden on the foul as Javon Tucker started his drive to the basket. Johnson will now get a breather, and Kamar Robertson will come back in.
Bears shooting 60% in the early going. 6 of 8 from 3.
Mercer's 2 big offensive weapons, Hasse and Johnson, on the bench right now.
McCadden taking a shot at
Tucker. Got double teamed inside with nowhere to go and ended up traveling. Hasse checks back in now.
I was going to say McCadden was taking a shot at Grant down low. Good job of denying in the basketball. And again, that's Georgia Southern coming with that double team. You've got to realize early on when that's coming. Obviously very difficult to maneuver down there and all that traffic.
Well, Georgia Southern is 8 of 15. Mercer is 9 of 15. So both teams red hot. Good ball movement, and Brown ends up with the open 3 that went all the way down and then popped back out.
Our buddy Tim Brando was here. He would say the iron tantalizingly unkind.
That indeed it was. Bears caught with an offensive foul, turns the ball back over to the Eagles.
Both these teams trying to feel out the physicality of this game, and even officials have to do that too. They've got an expectation of what they're going to see, but they have to do that too. And And more than 10 minutes into the game, both teams starting to do that with team fouls starting to rack up a little bit after almost no whistles in the first 5-6 minutes.
Usapitis. Free ball is no good, but McCadden gets the rebound. Contact inside, no foul. Mercer the other way. Roberts into Hasse.
Both teams, even though both teams shooting well, Frank, both teams doing a good job of forcing the other to go baseline, using that baseline as another defender.
Hasse with his first miss. Usapitis back the other way.
This is what Mercer has got to do. They have got to get Georgia Southern into half court and create turnovers just like that.
And they got Savrasov travel on his way to the basket.
This is not a Georgia Southern team, Frank, that has racked up a ton of points this year. And so if you're guarding yourself there, as we said, as you take another look at the travel, needed a passport for that one.
Tucker starts his drive.
Good
nice
take.
move to the hoop. The sophomore out of Atlanta, great defender, has struggled on the offensive end, but a nice move there. Mercer's lead is now 7.
Very, very aggressive to the hole. If you're Greg Gary, you like that after the hot shooting from the
minutes without a point. McCadden tries to stop that. He's going to have to pass. Outside shot, Usapitis, no good. Eagles have all of a sudden gone ice cold from the field.
Again, Mercer, you almost wonder if Greg Gary challenged them to match the defensive energy and intensity, and so far they've done it, especially in the half court.
Robertson somehow managed to feed Hasse inside, but he's trapped. And that results in a turnover again. Georgia Southern locking down Felipe Hasse underneath the basket. Mercer's 6th turnover, and Brian Berg continues to substitute liberally. As we said, he plays 10 people.
Well, the good thing about this, if you're Georgia Southern, the type of team they are, and Brian Berg, I mean, if you'll continue to guard, you're going to get some shots that start to go in. But when you're relying on almost fool's gold offensively and just believe you can outscore somebody, it's a little bit more difficult, especially on the road. This team mature enough to understand that they just continue to guard. Mercer's going to start to cool off a little bit, and they'll start to see some more shots go in.
Brown, pull-up jumper. No, battle underneath. Toyambi doing a good job of muscling inside.
He's a stud.
And he gets the payoff.
He is a stud. He's put the ball on the floor. He's very strong. Great job crashing the boards.
6'7" redshirt junior, the Congo, transferred from Cincinnati. Averaging 7 points and 5 rebounds a game. Shoots almost 62% from the field.
Pretty sure what that was is Toyambi smacked the ball with his left hand, and that's considered what's called a delay of game warning. You get near the end of the game, and if you do that, that could cause problems. So it's just a delay of game warning on Toyambi, not to hit the ball after it comes out of the basket.
Savrasov ends up with the turnover, and Johnson stays alive and swats the shot away. Good hustle by Jalen Johnson, getting back as Andre Savrasov drove to the basket.
We're talking about Johnson's offensive game. Great hustle, great timing. All ball on that rejection. That's what Mercer's got to do a good job of in transition. We talked about all those steals that Georgia Southern had at home last year. They've already picked a couple off here today.
Mercer with 7 turnovers. Georgia Southern with 4. McCadden found himself open. Eagles are cold from the outside, but Brown battles, hangs, and uses the glass beautifully. Kamari Brown with a nice basket there, and Georgia Southern has scored 4 in a row, and the Mercer lead is down to 3.
And they're doing it with second chance points. That's now 6 offensive rebounds for Georgia Southern. Good job of creating second chance opportunities.
Hasse, quick shot, got it to go. Felipe Hasse now in double figures with 11. And Mercer's lead back to 5. Cobb so quick. Cadden, Walker cuts him off. Cadden hanging in the air. Again, loose ball underneath. Battle for it. Savrasov missed a short one, and Mercer comes back the other way. Hasse will fire the 3, and why not? His 4th. Have hit their last 3 field goals, and they have their biggest lead at 8.
And for Georgia Southern, if it's gotten good looks, they can continue to do that and continue to crash the offensive glass. Oh, good take.
Nice move by Brown. Look at Curry inside. The big man, the redshirt junior from Albany, all 6'11" of him. Muscling his way, got the rebound, put it back in, and draws the foul.
Georgia Southern staying within shouting distance with their offensive rebounding. Now their 8th offensive board. Just bigger, stronger right there, out muscling for the and one opportunity.
Curry just 2 of 6 from the foul line going into this game. He's now 2 of 7. The Bears with the ball and a 6-point lead with 4.5 minutes to go, first half.
Mercer able to build this lead, Frank, without a foul shot. They haven't even been to the line yet. It's been all 3-pointers and some drives to the glass, drive to the bucket.
Out of bounds, Mercer basketball. Kamar Robertson, the junior from Alpharetta.
Even though the Bears have turned it over some, 8 assists on 12 made field goals, always good to see. So even without their point guard, Frank, still distributing the ball nicely.
Johnson, the 3, no good. Glisson battled for the rebound. Ends up in the hands of Andre Savrasov. And the Eagles back quickly, and that's Cobbs. Cobbs sort of out of control on that drive, lost the ball, and Mercer gets the turnover.
It is impressive how Mercer, even without Alvarez, against a very intense defense, has been able to create good offensive opportunities.
Johnson inside, soft touch. Hasse found Johnson, and Jalen pays off. He's now in double figures with 10. 9th straight game in double figures for Jalen Johnson.
With Batman and Robin out there for Mercer, Hasse and Johnson carrying the load right now.
Savrasov will fire a long 3, and it goes. Andre Savrasov shoots 40% from beyond the arc.
And as you said, after that first one went for Georgia Southern, they turned around and missed their next 8 before making that one.
Shot clock goes under 10. Hasse wants the ball. He's got a smaller man on him. Got a good look at it. No good. And here's McCadden quickly the other way.
Both teams look very winded. This first half has taken a lot out of them.
The Brown miss, batted around, and ends up in the hands of Kamar Robertson. Robertson got it.
Rebounding and continuing to pressure Mercer offensively and create some turnovers.
Robertson just under 56% from the foul line, gets that one to go. He's averaging 8 points a game. Had 12 on Monday night in the win against Coastal Carolina. His playing time obviously will increase with Neftali Alvarez out. So Robertson,
52
for 2.
I was just going to say 56% with a form like that. Gracious.
Sometimes you're looking, yeah, it's puzzling. Some guys with great form just for some reason struggle at the foul line. Walker on Brown. Now Yusapaitis. Back to Brown, working hard, tried to use the glass, battle for the loose ball. Actually may end up getting a foul, so Kamara Robertson, I believe they're going to get Prince Toyambi. on the foul. Robertson hustling. Banged up a little, but says he's going to stay in. And you see Greg Gary, third year at Mercer, 41-30 overall record, including 6-4 this year.
Well, the coaches and the media in the preseason expected a lot out of Mercer, Frank, and felt like the Bears would be as good as anybody in this league.
Walker got a rebound. Somehow Johnson managed to corral the rebound. Good ball moving. Johnson working hard. That was a tough shot. Good defense by Georgia Southern down low. And they're going to get Walker on the foul right there as he stepped in front of Trey Cobbs. That'll be Walker's second foul. And Mercer not a deep team.
Mercer has been content to stay back in that half-court man-to-man. Pretty traditional. They've done a nice job of forcing Georgia Southern to go baseline.
Toyambi had the mismatch. Strong move to the basket. He was on Robertson. Hasse came over at the last second, but not enough to cut off Prince Toyambi.
The transfer from Cincinnati, you can tell why the Bearcats wanted him. Very, very strong in the upper body. Can get to the rack and a tremendous finisher, as you just saw.
Johnson was open, missed it, and Brown back the other way quickly. And Robertson with great hands stole the ball. Kamar Robertson just reached in and took it away.
It's a second nice hustle play in the last 3 trips down the floor.
Robertson is battling bodies on the court. Toyambi hit the deck that time. And Toyambi gets his second foul in the past couple of minutes here.
A lot of banging, a lot of bodies going down. Officials doing a nice job of towing that very, very fine line. And Robertson's energy has been big here late in this first half, Frank, on both ends of the floor.
One and one. Robertson a perfect 3 for 3 from the line. Each team has shot 3 foul shots. Mercer 3 for 3. Georgia Southern 2 for 3.
Mercer's gone a little bit cold from the field, Frank, but with Robertson getting to the line and some good defense, able to hold this lead. They're 0-4 from the field and stay in a game because of their defense. And Mercer seen their ability to do that in their last couple of trips down the floor with Robertson and others causing havoc defensively.
Tucker matched up against Trey Cobbs. Cobbs, the senior from Lima, Ohio, transfer by way of Northern Kentucky. Brown. Savrasov decides why not. He'll fire the long 3. Hasse the rebound.
Got time.
Hasse, the man Mercer would like to see.
I'll say this again about the Eagles. If they were picked 11th out of 12 teams in the preseason in the Sun Belt, talk about what's going to be some good play in that league. Look out.
Johnson cross court to Robertson.
Didn't see much Grant down the stretch. He only played 8 first half minutes, but makes a big contribution there at the start of the second half, Frank.
Great feed from Sean Walker inside, and Shannon Grant scores.
Did pick up 2 personal fouls that probably relegated him to the bench. He'll need to be smart here in the early second half, not pick up that 3rd.
Cobbs thought about it.
Georgia Southern able to take advantage of that some and collecting some offensive rebounds.
Good defense by Mercer results in a steal by Sean Walker Jr. Hasse looks inside. Grant double team, works hard, battles, still battling. Jump ball. Possession arrow favors Georgia Southern.
That double team came very, very quickly on Grant. Little he could do, but you like the fight. You like the aggressiveness, the almost almost bully down there, and you have to be a little bit against this very aggressive Georgia Southern defense.
Well, Grant has developed some aggressiveness in this, his second season for the Bears. McCadden drives on Grant. Grant just picked up the foul. We were talking about trying to stay out of foul trouble. McCadden took it to the hoop.
Yep, that left arm coming down. You have to obtain and maintain legal guarding position, and Grant was beat off the dribble. Frank, you may want to put an asterisk around the 18:30 mark. Grant picked up his third after showing some, right out of the gate in the second half, a bucket, and then they feed him again, so he'll have to leave. Or you would think he would leave at least.
They're gonna 2 shots. He will after this free throw by Elijah McCadden. He's just a 55% foul shooter. It looks good on that one and gets it to go. And now Grant will sit, and James Glisson III comes in off the bench now for Mercer. And Glisson has been on fire in the last 2 games. 41 points in those 2 games. Wins over Georgia State and Coastal Carolina, but scoreless in the first half today. 2 for McCadden, cuts the lead to 7. Pressure.
It's going to be very interesting to see if Georgia Southern has continued success on the offensive glass with no Grant on the floor. Able to stay close in the first half with him relegated to the bench.
And they're going to get a foul there, so Walker underneath. They're going to get Kamari Brown for the foul, and so Mercer retains possession. Shot clock recycles to 20.
Toyambi having a conversation with our official. They're having a nice laugh about it. It wasn't a foul. Come on, ref.
Didn't get my money's worth on that one.
Well, it is worth a player sometimes just having a conversation with an official about, hey, what can I do better? What did I do? Tell me. You know, a lot of officials, depending on who they are, they'll try to talk players out of certain things, and it's a good job by Hasse to draw that foul.
And that's number 3 on Toyambi. So the 2 big men, Shannon Grant from Mercer and Prince Toyambi from Georgia Southern, both with 3 fouls.
That's quite a development. 2 very important pieces in each team's attack.
Hasse, an 80% foul shooter, makes the first, so Toyambi now takes a seat.
He has been a pest for Mercer with his ability to get to the glass, finish, offensive rebounding. That in a lot of ways cancels out Grant not being on the floor as good as Toyambi has been with his offensive rebounding.
Hasse now with 16 for Mercer, and Savrasov gets open for the only easy basket he's had thus far. He has 7 points, and that's what the Mercer lead is, 7.
That's one of the few easy baskets that Georgia Southern has had today.
Glisson works on Savrasov. Savrasov reached in, stole it the other way.
There's that transition we were talking about, picking up the turnover. Don't capitalize with the bucket, but your defense at least giving your offense a good look offensively. Good unselfishness. That was a chance Johnson could have taken that, but he gets a better shot and knocks it down. Beautiful offense by the Bears.
Jalen Johnson now with 13 as he hits his 3rd 3.
Not getting impatient offensively. Trusting your teammates. Nicely done.
And Robertson hustling again, just like he did in the first half. Nice move, drew the foul for Kamar Robertson. Just what you said in your keys to the second half. Got the steal, took it to the basket, drew the foul, and will shoot 2.
He is just slithery, both offensively and defensively. He puts himself in a good spot to not only to get the steal, but to get the foul called on him. Very intelligent player.
So it came in 55.6% from the foul line. He is a perfect 5 for 5 today.
Realizing he had the bigger guy on him. Sommersoff with that right forearm into him as he went up.
Six for 6 from the line for Kamar Robertson. He has 9 points. Mercer's lead is built to 12, and the Bears get another turnover.
Georgia Southern needs to be a little bit careful here. This is venturing into some troublesome territory. A team that's been renowned for their defense really needs to step it up now and shut down Mercer.
Glisson gets the open shot and drains the 3-ball. First basket of the game is a big one for James Glisson, the third, and Mercer has their biggest lead at 15.
Brian Berg with no timeout, realizing he's going to get one at the next dead ball under 16 minutes, trying to see his team play through this.
Curry into the game up top. Let's use a Pitus. And Brown, he can make the three, but not today so far, outside of the first one he took. McCadden, steal, Bears the other way. Robertson hanging, no. Johnson with the follow. Great hustle by Jalen Johnson and banked it in.
Brian Berg
Bears have ripped off 10 in a row.
And Georgia Southern can't wait. They need it now. And Brian Berg will get the 6 from the foul line and just very, very good running the offense.
Well, off the timeout, Georgia Southern gets the easy basket. Carlos Curry, the big man, throws it down for 2. And that snaps the Mercer run. Curry guarding Hasse now, and Hasse goes right by him and drives easily to the basket. Felipe Hasse with the quickness was able to get around Carlos Curry. Pitus guarded by Robertson in the corner.
Mercer's defense has been a tremendously great free throw shooter over the course of the year.
Grant Weatherford, it's only his 3rd free throw he's attempted this year for Georgia Southern. He's now 2 for 3. He's a transfer from IUPUI from Cicero, Indiana. 6'2" senior makes them both. Two teams are shooting excellent from the foul line. Georgia Southern 6 of 7, Mercer 8 of 8.
Which is always refreshing. And you see teams out there clanking them off the rim. 60% for the game, at least so far. Both these teams very good at the line.
Hasse was open for the 3, but Glisson battles inside. Couldn't get it to go. And McCadden comes back the other way. Curry, the big man, goes outside. Then Robertson, one of the smaller men on the court, snatches the rebound.
Georgia Southern not the same team without Toyambe out there providing his offense and his rebounding. But there is Robertson. For me, Frank, he's been the difference maker in this game. And with his offense, the way he's run the floor defensively, hasn't gotten into foul trouble. Number 1 in white has been the coach on the floor.
It's 11 points. Pitus cut off by Johnson. A little fadeaway and got it to go. Soft touch there by Getty Pitus, the senior from London, transfer by the way of Flagler. And Johnson back door. McCadden quickly the other way. Now a nice feed inside, and Curry again with another slam.
There's that transition again, and an easy basket. That's what you need to make a comeback, especially on the road. Need your defense to create easy opportunities for your offense.
4 straight for the Eagles. Tucker doesn't usually shoot the 3. That one looked good going, but rimmed out, and the Eagles with a chance to cut into the lead again. Cobbs draws the foul. Not sure if they're going to get Hasse or Robertson. They're going to get Robertson. And it will be a shooting foul.
He got his money's worth. They're actually, yeah, they're going to get Robertson. He got fouled twice, but I'm going to say Robertson committed it first.
Trey Cobbs, the senior, Lima, Ohio, transfer from Northern Kentucky. 87.5% foul shooter. So 5 straight points for the Eagles. They've been able to cut the lead to 12.
So Toyambi re-enters with 3 fouls at the 12:41 mark. Let's see how that perhaps changes the dynamic for the Eagles, especially with no Grant on the floor.
And Shannon Grant still sits for Mercer. He has 3.
Mercer's gotten good looks in their last 3 trips down the floor, both in dribbling to the rack and shooting from the perimeter. Just haven't been able to finish.
Robertson will fire a 3.
Got
a foul, and they're going to get Trey Cobbs. He was battling with Felipe Hasse underneath. So the ball will remain with the Bears. Shot clock recycles to 20.
That is one of the few times, maybe the only time today, Mercer could say they were dissatisfied with the look. I don't know if Robertson that deep from the key is what they're looking for. But for the most part, all things considered, Mercer has gotten good looks and they've executed.
Weatherford the steal, and McCadden throws it down. So an 8-0 run for Georgia Southern.
There it is again, that transition, the defense creating offense. That's what the Eagles want to do.
And they've cut it to 9, back to within single digits.
Want to get it to Hasse here. Have him create.
And a steal. They tried to go inside. Toyambi knocked it away.
That's the difference he makes when he's on the floor. He's a disruptor. Completely different team with Toyambi on the court.
Tough shot from McCadden.
This is a spot where you want Robertson to create something for you if possible.
And McCadden came open, missed the shot, battle for the rebound. They're going to say Kamari Brown last touched it.
This second half has been played a little bit more at Mercer's pace, even though Georgia Southern has gotten some breakouts. Been a little bit more of a half-court game, which you feel like Mercer would prefer. Can't have Georgia Southern making you play too fast, though, if you're Mercer.
The Bears have gone cold. That one down and out for Robertson. Brown the other way. That's going to be an offensive foul on Kamari Brown. And he knew it, too. He's nodding his head.
Sometimes those are close and tough to tell. That one pretty easy. Defender has to obtain that legal guarding spot facing the offending player, 2 feet on the ground. Nicely done in getting back. That's the best job Mercer has done today at getting back as far as transition defense.
Sean Walker Jr. doing a good job to draw the charge. Bears scoring drought now at 3.5 minutes. Savrasov on Hasse now.
Glisson's been quiet in the second half.
Ray Brown blocks Hasse's shot, so Mercer with the ball, but only 4 seconds on the shot clock now.
Eagles have just cranked up the intensity several notches. Very physical. Created some turnovers. Tough shot.
Hasse got it to go. The fall away as the shot clock wound down. That snaps the drought and bumps Mercer's lead back to 11. Savrasov has been somewhat quiet. He now decides it's his turn to take over. No. Haase draws the foul, and Savrasov will go to the line as you watch the last Mercer basket.
And McCadden's like, I can't do anything more than that. I mean, he's undersized, but playing about as good defensively as you can play. And the easy baskets just have been hard to come by for both of these teams. And Georgia Southern's got some of them in transition on some runouts, but very little of someone just beating someone off the dribble or having a wide open jumper. Even though it's not necessarily been a low scoring game, the defense has been pretty solid on both ends.
Walker, Robertson.
Glisson, I thought he would go baseline. Good job. The double team came too late, and Glisson recognized it. He turned towards the baseline and was able to score. Nicely done.
McCadden. Good move by Brown. And the Bears quickly closed the gap there. Out of bounds. Now, one thing I'm noticing, Jalen Johnson has not been in a while for Mercer. And here he comes right now. he got himself a good rest after.
And now the officials were.
I think Greg Gary says there's no way that's Georgia Southern's ball. The referee closest to us said he didn't see it.
I don't think that's a replayable look. It has to be under 2 minutes for the officials to go to the monitor. And that's a situation where when you have a transition opportunity, you have turnovers, you take another look. You're coming back down the floor. It's kind of no man's land there. And see if that ends up having a large effect on the game or not.
Brown will draw the foul from Jalen Johnson. This was the play before, and clearly it was knocked out of bounds by Elijah McCadden. That wasn't even close. Somehow the call was missed by everybody. And instead of Mercer with the ball, Georgia Southern ended up with it, and they get a free throw here from Kamari Brown.
Again, those are the toughest ones to see because officials coming back down the court. You have one official's got his head turned. He's trying to see. The new trail official is probably body blocked. And then the official on the other side of the court isn't supposed to be looking at that ball anyway. So it's kind of a perfect storm.
So Georgia Southern takes advantage of it and gets 2 free throws from Kamari Brown to cut the lead to 10.
Well, all things considered, Georgia Southern able to take a bite into this. But Mercer, with their defense, even though they've struggled offensively in the last couple of minutes, still enjoying this double-digit lead, even though they've been a little bit sloppy.
Steele, Weatherford.
This game was kind of pretty in the first half. Not as pretty in the second half.
A lot of banging, a lot of missed shots in the second half. Glisson says, I'll try the 3 and I'll hit it. James Glisson has confidence from beyond the arc, and he buries a big one to bump Mercer's lead to 13.
A quiet 8 points for him today, but that's a big bucket there. Mercer's now hit 3 of their last 3 from the field. That will take you, hopefully, to a tournament championship in Asheville.
Bears have played just 7 players today. Georgia Southern playing their usual 10. Brown got open for the 3. Georgia Southern struggling from beyond the arc today.
To say the least, 2 of 15. A team that you mentioned, Frank, at the break, 37% for the year. So uncharacteristic. That's offensive basket or defensive basket interference. They missed that call. They put the Georgia Southern player put their hand through the net.
That's what Walker said. Sean Walker said after he missed that shot at the other end, he said there's no, and he's saying the same thing. He said surely. Grant Weatherford.
Goodness.
Oh my. Oh well, there he goes. He's a little bit hobbled after colliding with, apparently the person he ran into is okay. Eagles down by 13 with the ball. Brown. Toyambe underneath gets hammered.
This has been a physical basketball game, to say the least. Officials have tried to manage things as well as they can. Georgia Southern has just struggled to find consistent offensive rhythm in the second half.
Toyambe, 46.7% foul shooter. Georgia Southern 11 of 14 from the foul line. They've missed their last two. Mercer 8 of 8. Toyambe goes 1 for 2.
They're going to have to create some more turnovers. They've got to do some more of that. Toyambe trying to be aggressive. You can't really fault him. He picks up his 4th foul.
And he immediately will be replaced. They're going to bring Grant Weatherford back in. Weatherford at 6'2", Toyambe at 6'7". Brian Burr going with a smaller lineup.
Trying to bring some quickness in there, create some havoc, create some turnovers. That's how Georgia Southern, Frank, was able to cut that 17-point lead down to 9. Need to do that again and then some. Good pass.
Glisson inside, got hammered by Kamari Brown. Hasse, good job finding James Glisson III, cutting to the basket.
Well, we saw Grant earlier in the game, a big guy who can pass, and you see Hasse, unselfish. Very nice cut to the basket.
Glisson's first trip to the foul line. He's an 87% shooter. Mercer now a perfect 9 for 9 from the free throw line.
Frank, I remember watching him last year and thinking he has a chance to be really, really good. He's the kind of guy that you watch, and it looks like it comes so easy for him. He's got so many gifts, and he has the ability to take it up a couple other notches and develop his game. He could be an all-Southern Conference type of performer before his time is done.
A quiet 10 points for him off the bench. Sarvasov, a long 3. He has struggled from beyond the arc, and that was way out, that shot.
This is not the pace that Georgia Southern needs to get back in this game. This is a pace that's been dictated by Mercer. Even though they're not as deep of a team, they're missing their point guard. Cannot say enough about the play of Robertson today. He's just kept things very, very steady for the most part.
Yusapaitis cut off. They're going to get Glisson with a foul, and that should be a 1-and-1 now, as both teams are over the limit.
You love the balance for Mercer, Frank, as well. 4 players in double figures. Let's take another look at that last foul. That's Glisson. He's using that forearm, but I don't know if that's what they got him for.
Yusapaitis has only shot 4 free throws all year. He's made them all. He's now 5 for 5. Averages 7 points a game. from London, a senior, transferred from Flagler College.
So if Georgia Southern can create some turnovers with this press, it's been successful, but that was more in the first half how they were able to do it. Frank, if Robertson can manage a game like this without Alvarez, Mercer has a chance to still win a lot of games this year. And obviously the balance, you love 4 players in double figures.
Johnson did a good job of finding Glisson. Glisson again a good job of drawing the foul. So he'll go back to the line to shoot 2. He's a junior from Decatur, Georgia. Third straight game he's come off the bench and gone into double figures. Glisson 3 for 3 from the line. Mercer now 11 for 11.
Other thing about the Bears in this second half, they were intentional about not being so perimeter oriented and being able to spread things out offensively, score points in different ways. Remember, for the large part of that portion of that first half, they didn't even get to the foul line. They've been able to get there and make every one of them in this game.
Yusapaitis a long 3. And the Eagles finally find something from beyond the arc. Getty Yusapaitis with 5 straight points for Georgia Southern. That 3-pointer cuts the lead to 11. They're under 5 minutes now.
I think Greg Gary would tell you that his defense had something to do with those numbers, but Georgia Southern has missed some wide open threes as well today.
Prince Toyambi blocks James Glisson's attempt underneath. Bears retain the basketball with 13 seconds on the shot clock. Toyambi in now, 4 fouls, but Ryan Berg felt he had no choice but to get the big man back in there.
His aggressiveness helping bolster Georgia Southern to cut it to 9 at one point in the second half after the lead had been 17.
Hasse, tough luck there. Got a good look at it, and it came out. The Eagles with a chance to get it back in single digits. Loose ball ends up in the hands of McCadden. So a couple of tough breaks from Mercer. A shot that spun out at one end and a near steal there results in a Georgia Southern basket. And the Eagles are making another run, and they cut the lead to 9.
Here's where you hope your depth makes a little bit of a difference if you're Georgia Southern. Maybe you've got a little bit more wind. You can be a little bit more aggressive on defense and get some runouts if you're able to continue to create some turnovers.
Shot clock winding down. Robertson going to have to fire a long 3, which he will. And Rum rings out, but Hasse was able to get the rebound and put it in. Robertson rimmed out the 3. Hasse said, "Thank you, I'll put it back in."
Thought Hasse for a moment may try to reset the offense, but he had such a wide open look, just went right back up with it. That was a big sequence there. Georgia Southern could have come back down the floor down 9 with 3.5 minutes left. But that offensive good balance. They're going to be tough to fend off in the Sun Belt. I'll have something to say come March, you'd feel like.
Kamari Brown with 10 points. He's 5 of 5 from the line. He is only 2 of 10 from 3-point range today. Well, he's a good shooter ordinarily. And Andre Savrasov is 3 of 10 from beyond the arc. 2 there, and now they're ramping up the pressure.
There it is.
And immediately forces the turnover.
That's what you've got to do if you're Georgia Southern. It worked more in the first half. Robertson and company have done a nice job. If you're Georgia Southern, you want to try to get good opportunities, and it is imperative here. I'm surprised we haven't seen Grant down the stretch in the second half. Can Georgia Southern get second chance opportunities? If you're Mercer, that's the #1 most important thing. One shot, and that's all for Georgia Southern.
Oh, nice move by McCadden. Hasse did a good job of blocking him off, but there was Savrasov. 4 quick points from Georgia Southern following the timeout, and the lead is within 7. The closest the Eagles have been in a while.
Georgia Southern still staying very, very aggressive.
Johnson has been quiet offensively in the second half for Mercer.
Love to get it down low to Glisson.
Shot clock winding down, and the steal, and nice hands by Brown. So back-to-back turnovers by the Bears.
Again, if you're Mercer, you cannot allow a second chance opportunity. It hurt you the last time down the floor.
McCadden's floater is good, and the Eagles within 5.
This is the closest they have been in a long time.
And Greg Gary decides that Hasse. There's one of their last 7. Shot clock again starts to wind down.
Mercer looking uncertain on offense.
And another turnover. Robertson got back though and was able to knock the ball away. A huge defensive play by Kamar Robertson as Georgia Southern was racing towards the basket.
That was his 6th steal. His play today has been huge for Mercer on both ends of the floor.
Foul there. That's going to be on Cobbs. And that will be a 1-and-1 for Sean Walker Jr. It'll be Walker's first trip to the foul line. He only has 2 points. He's a good foul shooter, 87.5%.
Robertson today, 11 points, 6 of 6 from the foul line, 5 rebounds for the little guy, and 5 steals. Just 1 assist. That was a big steal right there.
Walker makes the first. Bumps the Mercer to 6. Walker makes both. Mercer now 14 of 14 from the foul line. Georgia Southern is 16 of 19. And so Tucker now in. Javon Tucker from Mercer tried a little defense. He's guarding Cobbs. Here's a Pitus. He made his last 3, but that time didn't. Good job by Hasse of blocking out. And he gets the rebound. And they're going to get Robertson for an offensive foul.
Right in front of us as he was coming across the timeline. And an offensive player puts that forearm out there and displaces. You're just going to put yourself in a bad spot. See, the defender was not legal, at least did not look legal. But when you put that forearm out and you extend and displace the defender, you put yourself in a very bad spot as an offensive player.
So big turnover there because the Bears with the lead had the ball. Now it will go back to Georgia Southern. And we're still mopping up the floor. Referees want to make sure there's no wet spots and nobody slips.
Player control foul, obviously, so no foul shots.
Savrasov will inbound. McCadden guarded by Robertson. Savrasov can make the 3. He's not been able to do it today. Glisson soared and got the rebound and drew the foul. So Andre Savrasov, usually a good 3-point shooter, has struggled 1 of 6 from beyond the arc.
Georgia Southern has done a lot of good things today. A lot of things you need to do to win on the road. They've rebounded fairly well. They've shot very well from the foul line. But it is very difficult to win any game, much less a game on the road, when you go 3 of 19 from the perimeter.
2 shots for Glisson, makes the first. Glisson now with 13. He's 5 of 5 from the line. Make it 6 of 6, and that bumps the lead back up now to 9. Georgia Southern got to get down court in a hurry. McCadden. And McCadden nearly got the 3-point play. A strong drive to the basket, drew the foul, and the ball rimmed out. But that will send Elijah McCadden to the line.
McCadden. So difficult to stop. Just Robertson locking his arm. May as well foul him hard if you're Robertson.
McCadden has 12 points. He's 2 of 2 from the foul lines. We said both teams have been outstanding from the free throw line. Georgia Southern now 17 of 20 from the line.
Kind of amazing. Georgia Southern as close as they are. Just 3 of 19 from the perimeter.
McCadden makes both.
This has been a foul shooting clinic for both teams. I beseech you to find a game where two teams shoot better with as many as they've shot.
Combined, the two teams are 34 of 37 from the foul line.
That's about as good as you'll find this year with that many foul shots.
Hasse, as soon as he came across midcourt, he was fouled by Elijah McCadden.
How good has he been today? Cooled off a little bit, hasn't had as many shots. The defensive attention has been paid to him more.
22 points. He has played 38 minutes, Felipe Hasse.
Made some really tough shots today, too. Bears have been in another tight one today, Frank. Pulled a couple out. They've got two really good charges from Georgia Southern, and what they've done at the foul line from the perimeter, I really highlight the play of Robertson. He's been very impressive to me. It looks like it's going to be enough here.
And Robertson applying some defense, and again McCadden. Brown will fire a long three and get it to go, so they do make 6.
Want to try to get it to Robertson here or Johnson.
They get it to Hasse. And Hasse immediately fouled. So he'll go back to the line. Salversov with the foul. Hasse with 24 on the day, 4 of 4 from the free throw line. Just made 2 a minute ago. He will shoot 2. At the moment, just a 2-possession game.
Frank, the lead. Frank, can you remember a game, the last time you've seen a team shoot this many foul shots in a game and not miss one? I can't. Hope I didn't just jinx him. Up there it goes. I should have known better.
They made their first 19. McCadden, he's been doing a good job of getting to the basket. Inside shot, Toyambi had a gimme and missed it. And that could be the dagger.
Now that bucket there can cut it to 5 with under 20 seconds left, but that miss from in close. 3-possession game. Mercer, as we said, has endured several pushes from Georgia Southern with that pressure, with their depth. And Greg Gary, as we said, his team has already been able to pull out some tight ones. Their foul shooting today has been a big reason why they've been able to stay in the lead.
Walker overcomes the Phil Cox jinx by making that one better. They were due a miss. 20 of 21 though for the Bears. Walker 3 for 3. Make it 4 for 4. And that bumps the lead back up to 9 now with just 15 seconds left on the clock.
Not a bad way to go into the exam break.
And Robertson knocked the ball away. That's going to force the Eagles to use a little more time. McCadden tried to go inside, and there's Robertson, who ends up with the basketball.
His 6th steal.
And he will finish it out. And the crowd rises.